What is the significance of the 67 minutes for Mandela? What is the state of race relations in the country 4 years after Madiba passed on? How does the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund help towards ensuring child safety and protection? And is the Nelson Mandela Foundation succeeding in keeping the legacy of Mandela alive? What time is it? It's question time. Khotong and welcome to the show. My name is Mpho Tsedu. People from all walks of life around the world are celebrating Nelson Mandela Day. Mandela could be turning 99 years today. The day has become a global event with ordinary people, politicians and celebrities dedicating 67 minutes of their time to doing charity work in memory of the late Madiba. In November 2009, the UN General Assembly declared 18 July as Nelson Mandela International Day. This in recognition of the former South Africa President's contribution to the culture of peace and freedom. For their part, the Nelson Mandela Foundation and the Children's Fund have a mandate and obligation to ensure that the legacy of Madiba lives on. The foundation researches and archives information on the life and times of Mandela. Meanwhile, the Children's Fund is driven by Madiba's love for children irrespective of their color. Madiba donated a third of his salary throughout his term in office towards the formation of the Children's Fund that was opened in 1995. We are live and therefore you can call us and air your views. 089-110-4210, our international number, +2789-110-4210, or tweet us your comments. Our Twitter handle @QuestionTime24. My guest today, Luzuko Koti, the Director of Communications at the Nelson Mandela Foundation, and Mpho Tsedu, Program Specialist of Child Protection and Safety at Nelson Mandela Children's Fund. We're expecting to be joined by Dennis Goldberg, a Rivonia trialist, but we'll see if we are able to get him. But the show is yours as usual. Please do give us a call and let's hear what you were doing today. 67 minutes for Mandela. What did you do? But oh yes, we have Dennis Goldberg on the line. Dennis Goldberg, welcome.
Good afternoon. How are you?
We are well, and we wish you good health as well.
Thank you.
Perhaps as we start today's show, let me just start with you. I'm not so sure if you would have had an opportunity to do your 67 minutes today, but you have done more than 67 minutes throughout your life. What does the day mean for you?
You know what it means for me? It's to celebrate Nelson Mandela and his upholding of the vision of the South Africa, of our Freedom Charter and our Constitution that includes all our people in a non-racial, non-sexist democracy. And at this time, where our democracy is under attack from elements within the ruling party itself, to remember Nelson Mandela's commitment to democracy. And that's what the foundation does, the Mandela Foundation. Is so important. That's what this day means to me, to defend our democracy.
And obviously, as somebody who has been that close to Tata Nelson Mandela, you would obviously have views around what is happening. I mean, today, one of the things that happened, whereas other people were dedicating the 67 minutes to doing good, but there was also this other cause which is unfolding in Randburg, where civil society movements are gathering, also doing things in the name of Mandela to say, let's save South Africa from what is happening. Your views?
I think we need to save South Africa from the attacks from within the ANC government, which condones corruption. The president never condemns. I've never heard him condemn those who commit the cronyism, the bleeding of our economy. He says it's to combat white monopoly capital by making some people very rich and the taxpayers' money flows out of the country. I've never heard him say, stop leading our economy by sending money out of the country. And so I have to say, and I've said it for a long time now, I'm tired of a president who was once my hero, is no longer my hero. That's President Zuma, who condones all of this that's happening within his own family. He may not give the orders, but he doesn't condemn it. And I find that regrettable. In other words, we lack leadership. And I must say the top 6 of the ANC have also condoned it. Only now are some beginning to speak out and say things are wrong. All the years we've been saying, take a stand, take a stand. They would use bureaucratic methods to say, you're not doing it through channels and so on. And in the end, they don't even listen to over 3 million supporters who did not vote for the ANC last year. They don't even listen to our people. So they must go. And so, you see, Madiba, in September 1993, speaking at the COSATU conference, said he knows that there are working people and trade unionists who say the ANC will betray workers. And he said, but you are the ANC. And if the leaders do not do what you want, vote for new leaders. And so we in the Stalwarts and Veterans Association, informal association, are saying to ANC members, it's up to you to ensure you renew the leadership that's not corrupt. That's very important for us. That's my belief. And I'm following Nelson's footsteps in following this war against corruption and the war for democracy.
Dennis Goldberg.
There was a moment in his early years of his presidency where he was accused of violating the Constitution.
Yeah.
He ordered something about some election. And the Constitutional Court said, you have made a mistake. You do not have those powers. And he said, I will respect the judgment of the court. And we will not change the law. We will respect our law and our democracy. What a difference from today, where the president and other people in government go from court case to court case to court case at taxpayers' expense and never really accept the decisions of the court. And then at the end, the president said about the Constitutional Court saying it violated the Constitution. He says, oh, I'm sorry, I always meant to pay, when he said he would never pay. Well, now he's been forced to. I find that dishonesty, I find it lying and unacceptable. And Nelson Mandela never did that. That's what I remember about Madiba, his integrity.
Dennis Goldberg, thank you very, very much for talking to us. And please retreat to your safety spot and recover. We wish you good health indeed.
Enkosi kakhulu Buti.
Enkosi kakhulu Tatu Goldberg, phayana besithetha naye. Let me come back to you guys in studio here. I mean, this is wisdom. These are stalwarts of our liberation movement, and we cannot, disregard what they say by any means. But is it okay that such sentiments are expressed on this Mandela Day?
It is okay. This is the time for people to live Madiba's values. This is the time when we call on South Africans and the global community to emulate Madiba's values and principles. And we know Madiba is not a person who would have kept quiet when things were going wrong. If you track his story, from whenever you can be able to track it, those who were there before his treason trial and those who look at his life only after he was released, you can link the common thread there, that Madiba is a person who spoke. We have that memory in the Nelson Mandela Foundation. People can come in there and look at Madiba's way of thinking, the way of engagement, the way of making decisions. He challenged things that were not going right, that were against his values. And this is important, that and what Ndata Goldberg is saying is very key in what we want to really get young people to take up, because it's old people, it's the elderly, it's the stalwarts that are continuously crying about the state of our country, and they seem to be shouting at a wall because nobody is listening. But young people, with their energy, with their foresight, and of course their possibility to inherit this country, they should be speaking much more, and I think that's the value that they should emulate from Madiba.
Well, I know that as a Nelson Mandela Children's Fund, you are more concerned about, the well-being of children and all that. But one of the things that one cannot ignore is that children are growing up having to know about Nelson Mandela. Which Mandela do you want the kids to remember? Do you want them to remember the Youth League Mandela, militant one, the 1990 Mandela who wasn't, so sure as to, how do we tread? Do we hit at them or not? Or the reconciliatory Mandela who's loved by everybody? Which Mandela do you want to package for these kids?
I think as a children's fund, we like young people to emulate Mandela throughout his life. As a young man growing up in Mvezo, we want young people to know that where you come from does not define who you become. We're wanting, as Uluzugo is saying, a young militant, young person. The voice of young people today is quite low in terms of what is happening. We're finding young people who are defending wrong in their leadership. And I don't think that's the South Africa we have been used to. I mean, some of us, we grew up young people being the fighters, leading the struggle. And we argued that young people should be given their childhood, they should be given an opportunity to grow, but also when it is wrong, it is wrong. And we should be able to say our young people have to take the lead. As I say, they're going to be inheriting South Africa. Is this a South Africa they're wanting to live in? We don't think so. And they are the ones to say no. We saw in the 70s what young people did. They didn't want education. That wasn't good for them. And they fought against that. What happened later, it says to us, if we do not have critical young people who are thinking, who are questioning. On Friday, we had an event. I was saying to the young people who were there, I've heard your complaints. Can we find the solutions to the complaints? We can no longer continue with young people who are forever complaining about what it is not, but are not saying, in my corner, this is what I'm doing. Come to me, support me. We need young people who are actually leading in their own communities, who are changing the world where they are.
Maxwell, are you in Ellis, Russ, or in Ellis?
Yes, Mpho, this is Alice.
Oh, Alice, Alice, that
Now ignore where you about to born in South Africa.
I see ignoranga tina that.
Yeah, Kodaga is very important in the because Nelson Mandela, he once studied here at the University of Mpho.
Women.
Wetani ndikanobuza manu yabona bhuti uba unoyilanda lento mva Madiba served his term and he said it's enough for him. Then came Mbeki after Madiba. Mr. Mbeki wacholwa ngento enye, only one thing, and he was forced to step down, and he did in a peaceful way. There were no marches, nothing. Now, Mr. President Zuma, I mean, that I call message I send you a positive kubantwana bethu abasakhulayo ngoku. Umbuzo wami uya kwi-ANC ukuthi utheni nalento beyeka into erongo iqhubekeke ngohlobo iqhubeka ngalo. noba i-intellectuals ziyathetha la ekhaya azivakali utheni yini le nto kufuneke yenziwe.
Kaloku bebetshilo wena Dr. Maxwell into ubana abakwazi ukugqotha unantsika utatu Zuma because engumongameli we-ANC aphinde abe umongameli wezwe.
Yes, no, we do understand that, Mpho. But the most important factor here is the fact that Mbeki made only one mistake. And he was recalled by the ANC. Now, if you look at our president, Mandela, he should have said long time ago to say, no, please, my name in the public, I'm stepping down.
That Maxwell uvakele that. Alice. Well, I guess we can't avoid allowing people to express themselves on Mandela Day. This is what they feel.
Quite right. No. They have to. They have to speak. The most interesting thing about this, Mpho, is the message that comes from leadership. I've had President Zuma, I've had a number of ANC leaders, the leaders of the opposition. Many political leaders are saying, let us live Madiba's values.
Yeah.
Let us emulate Madiba. And I ask myself as to whether this is a message that they are sending to us as the members of the public and society, but not fit for them as individual leaders and, of course, leaders of the organizations that they lead. And this is something that we have to continuously interrogate as to whether the messages that come from our leadership is something that really is designed to inspire us to make a contribution to this country so that things are better, or it is just a message so that leaders can shift out of a corner that they find themselves in and are able to continue with their life as normal.
Hold it there. Let's take Felix. Felix, you are in Nelspruit. Welcome.
Thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome.
You see, I spent my 67 days, actually the whole day, talking to people, educating them about the constitution that we have now, the role Mandela played to bring about this constitution, how he fought and went to prison, and how he sacrificed all he had to bring about justice in this new dispensation. And I told them it is time for us to rise up and chase away Jacob Zuma, because he is destroying the very good name of Nelson Mandela. He has brought shame to our country. He's not a dignified man at all. So I was trying to tell people, please, it's time for us to all rise up. There's no more complaining. We need to rise up now to chase away Jacob Zuma. He has failed to uphold, to respect, and to defend our constitution. A very divine document that describes how we are supposed to live with each other. This is a disgraceful man, and we don't want him anymore, and he must leave. So I spent the whole day explaining this to people.
Okay, Felix, whoa. You were doing quite a lot there, explaining to people that Zuma must go. Okay, but yeah. This is a very free country. We indeed want to hear from you. What were you doing today? And what do you think of this Nelson Mandela Day? One of the things that I am very proud of, which that Nelson Mandela did, was the hospital initiative, which was formally opened or declared. Because, one of the things that we would remember Nelson Mandela for is that even in his weekdays when he was ill and all that, he was treated here in South Africa. We never had to fly him out, to Asia or any parts of other world. He had confidence in the health systems in this country. How's the hospital going?
The hospital has been completed, and we are happy to say that there are just smaller things that needs to be finalized.
Okay.
But it is done, so people can actually go and view and see their contributions, because South Africans built the hospital, and it was built through the help of many, many, many people. So if you have time, you can go to see it before it's fully functional, so that you see what you have done, what you have contributed, and the legacy that has been left for our children, and ensuring that children's health is taken seriously by those who are in power. And this, we're saying, this should be used as a symbol of what excellency is. Mr. Mandela believed in excellency. He did the best he could as a human being. And I think we are all thriving for that, to say we need to ensure that our children are important, and are not just important when we wanting to prove to the world that certain things can happen, but even when in their ailing state, they should be taken care of properly, where you are not going to say the state of the art has to be in the private hands. Yes, it is in academic hospital, there will be referrals, but we are saying our children need to be given health in the manner that says they are important to us.
Nelson Mandela is an international icon. How does somebody in Zimbabwe mark Nelson Mandela Day?
Well, the first thing that we're trying to do, Mpho, is to move away from the 67 minutes. It's something that it has helped us to get where we are, because it gave us the kind of springboard to move from a period where people thought the best way to celebrate Madiba's birthday was to have parties and show how happy they are and how much they have and so on, and focus people to doing something for a small period.
Okay, just hold it there. I need us to take a quick call. Khumuzo, you are in Mamelodi. Welcome.
Hello, Mpho. How are you?
I'm well. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Thanks, man, for taking my call, Mpho.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Mpho, man. Today, we were busy on our local primary school.
Okay.
Doing our 67 minutes.
Yes.
Locally. Yeah, but it was not enough. We tried our level best with no funds. It was not enough. But one thing I want to emphasize here, that's something very small that I want to show.
Yes.
That I want to tell the nation.
Yes.
You see, now we are in a state, this country is in a state whereby when we touch issues that Nelson Mandela has left us to tackle them, especially economic issues, you are now being targeted and being as a leader, leaders who confronting the capital monopoly, who saying these things are not right. Thabo Mbeki, so we know that in the era of Thabo Mbeki, many of our state-owned businesses were sold to imperialist companies, Western companies, but no one complained about it because it was onto their favor. Because now the president is fighting them, is an enemy to them. The civil society movement, all of them, the veterans, I don't know, are now African captured. Let's face the real capture. Banks are corrupt. The JSE companies, most dominated by outsiders, are corrupt, looting our resources here. But no one is talking about it.
So, Khumuzo, you're saying what? White monopoly capital is the enemy?
Not white monopoly capital.
Oh, okay.
The monopoly
capital. All right. Whatever color it is.
Whatever color it is. The monopoly capital that dominates the JSE. That dominates our JSE there. No one is talking about it, Mpho. No one is talking about it. But when we're confronting them, we're asking for state bank, but they're not talking about why are you busy defending these people who are busy looting our country here.
Okay.
The SA. What is safe SA?
All right.
What is this
Khumuzo. Yes, we've noted the points. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. Yeah. But things do get emotive here. Let me give you your closing thoughts as you just wrap up even on the point that I stopped you.
Thank you. And I was saying that we need to, and what Mpho is saying talks to this. Khumuzo, sorry. Yes. That we have moved from a point where we need to conscientize people about what they can do instead of celebrating and having parties. Madiba didn't want us to celebrate it with parties. He said, let us impact on other people's lives. And what can we do then in marking his day to contribute to somebody else's life? And what we have been trying to do is to say, let us then act on a daily basis. Let it be part of our habit to at least intervene in somebody's situation. Some people call us and trying to find out, at the foundation, at the Children's Fund, at the Mandela Rhodes Foundation, what is it that I can do on Mandela Day? And we say, but you live in that community. If you look around, you should be able to say, what's wrong with this picture? And then try to fix it. You should come with the locally produced solutions that are going to be able to at least sustain themselves, because if I come in there, I cannot sustain those. So someone in Zimbabwe, someone in Angola, someone in the United States, someone in Russia, if they want something to do, they must think about that. But I think also importantly is that we must also not forget our past. It's important that we talk about where we come from and the legacy of this country, which is what Khomozo was talking about.
Your closing thoughts.
Our children are under siege. It is the responsibility of every South African to ensure that we protect our children and we ensure that all children go to school, they are fed, and they have a shelter.
Thank you very much for your time. Unfortunately, we have run out of time. But that was question time for today. A big thank you to my guest and to you for watching the show. From me and the entire crew, I'm Mpho Tsedu.